Episode 15, Heal Your Gut and Heal Your Body, a 4-step guide.
Welcome to this episode of Health IQ. We have a fascinating topic today that will be of interest to everyone. Our crew today is Robert Hockaday and Gordon Runyon. Our special guest today is Dr. Tina Guerrero. Dr. Tina is a great asset to our community. She is a local chiropractor and provides acupuncture as well. She teaches nutrition at Mesalands Community College and Hutchinson Community College in Kansas. Dr. Tina has a master's degree in nutrition, so we are really excited to be able to talk about this topic today of food and things. Joining me at the table is Joyce Runyon, and of course I am Brenda Bishop. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Dr. Tina is the chair of our Healthy Eating Active Living Committee, and she's also part of the local Conversations About Soil Health group and teaching people how to grow healthier vegetables and fruits, I guess. Several months ago, we had a really interesting discussion at one of our meetings about certain vegetables and how they can help us tone our saggy skin. This discussion is what sort of led us to today's topic, and we were learning that eating right and exercising are always touted as ways to fend off many illnesses, but it's very confusing because there's so many changes in the world of nutrition, and it's so hard to keep up. There's so much fad diets out there, so much on the internet, and so we're all a little confused about what is it that we're supposed to be eating. So we're really excited that you're here today to help teach us about foods that might help us heal our bodies. So with that, I'm just going to let you tell us what is the main thing that we need to be eating to heal our body.
Well, for healing and repair to occur, we need to have good proteins. Mm-hmm. Proteins are going to be found in your animal products, so chicken, meat, eggs, fish, and this can be wild animals like elk and deer, or just the local meat that you have. So you want as pasture-raised as possible, as healthy as possible, because it has less processing in it, and so that's what you want to shoot for, because without the protein, your body doesn't have the building blocks to repair anything. So that's a key start for repairing the body.
So there's a recommendation to have fish at least twice a week. Is that still a good thing? Do you want to be rotating meats? Is it okay just my kid will only eat chicken and that's all I can get down him? Are these things, what's your take?
Well, the recommendation is currently fish twice a week. They are trying to move it more towards 3 times a week. So if you can get fish in 3 times a week, that is beneficial. And you do want to rotate your proteins. You don't want to just eat chicken or just eat pork or just eat beef.
Okay.
You want to rotate in because each protein has a different component breakdown. Mm-hmm. So this helps to keep your diet more balanced. So
would even like a canned fish be okay?
Canned fish is okay. Again, freshwater fish or fresh fish is going to be the best. Kind of hard here in New Mexico to get fresh fish, especially from the sea, but that would be the best. Next is going to be your frozen, and then your last choice would be like the canned.
Okay.
So, but if that's all that is available, canned fish is adequate. So.
Okay, good.
Or sometimes affordable.
And yes,
That's the other
that
issue.
is true. You want to buy what you can afford to buy. So some things you may be able to go a little bit different, and other things you may be able to splurge a little bit and get something a little healthier. So yes.
So I've been seeing a lot about gut health on the news and on the internet and all, but I'm not really actually sure what my gut is. And I even heard that you can brush your teeth and it will help your gut be healthier,
Wow.
which is a good thing because we all should be brushing our teeth. But can you tell us about gut and how we can keep that healthy and why we need to keep it healthy?
Yeah, your gut health is your entire digestive system. Digestion starts in the mouth, so like the brushing the teeth, that would help clear out bad bacteria. But the entire digestive tract from the mouth to the anus is what they're talking about with gut health. So with gut health, we want to make sure that we keep it as healthy as possible, because 70% of your immune system is found in your gut health.
Oh my goodness.
So if your gut health plummets, so does your immune health. So if you're having difficulty fighting off diseases, and like you catch every flu bug that comes around, that could be an indication that you may need to look at your gut and try to improve your gut health so that your immune system also improves.
And gut health also helps with inflammation, which also causes many illnesses.
Absolutely. So for gut health, there is 4 basic steps that I try to teach my patients, as well as trying to, in the nutrition classes, these are things that we go over. So you want to, the first step is to remove as many toxins as possible. So the toxins can be environmental toxins, but can also be just not eating healthy foods. So non-healthy foods would be the more processed. The more processed the food is, the more toxins that are going to be found
Those
in it.
convenient foods that we all want to rely on.
Yes, yes. So other things as far as toxins is going to be all the sugars, which again, you're going to find mainly in your processed foods. So eliminating sugary foods, or what they call bad carbohydrates. Your good carbohydrates is going to be your fresh fruits and vegetables. Your bad carbohydrates are going to be all the cakes, cookies, and processed carbohydrates. So you want to have as healthy as you can get and remove as many of those toxins as possible.
Are there some sugars that would be more healthy for people to use?
Yes. The more natural the sugar, the healthier it is for you. So raw honey has all of its nutrients in it. Turbinado, which is pure sugar, it's not been refined, has its nutrients in it. Blackstrap molasses is another one. Those all have their nutrients maintained in them, and they haven't been processed, so they're a healthier sugar. You still want to limit those, but they're a healthier
So
sugar.
not all honeys are raw. There's some that are they fake?
Most grocery store honey is processed, so it's been refined. And so there's even some honey that is nothing but high fructose corn syrup as honey. So raw honey has the nutrients in it. Processed honey does not have nutrients in it. And so that's the difference with like honeys. The more nutrients in it, the rawer the form is.
Okay. Well, we need to read our labels then.
Yes.
Especially if they're passing off corn syrup. That's bad. That's a bad thing.
That is true. That is true.
So that was first step. Step 2?
Step 2 is to replace enzymes.
Enzymes.
And enzymes are going to be found in fruits and vegetables. The bulk of enzymes are mainly in fruits, and the less processed the fruit or the vegetable, the better the enzymes are. It's easier to find them. So this is going to be like your pineapple, papaya, avocados, kiwi, mangoes, any of those foods. But you can also find enzymes in your fermented foods. But again, they're going to be found in fruits and vegetables. If you are doing vegetables, sometimes steaming them will help access the enzymes a little better. And the least amount of cooking keeps the most amount of nutrients and enzymes in your food. So you don't want to drown your fruits and vegetables when you're cooking them. You just want a little bit of water to cook them in so that you can maintain the nutrients. But steaming is the best.
Sounds good.
So some people love to throw frozen vegetables in the microwave and think it's a good thing because it was frozen, right?
Yes. Well, frozen vegetables are good. Again, your first highest quality is going to be your local fruits and vegetables, then your supermarket vegetables. Then if you can't go from there, you go to the frozen, and then finally with canned. But even with the frozen vegetables, everyone loves their microwave, but research has showed, like with broccoli, if you steam the broccoli for the same amount of time as you microwave your frozen broccoli, the microwave broccoli loses 90% of its nutrients, where the steaming only loses 10%.
That's a huge difference.
That is a huge difference.
That.
So take a little more time with your cooking and steam it versus the microwaving.
Well, and there's these cool baskets you can get very inexpensively that fit any pan. They look like a little flying saucer. My kids used to love those.
The steam baskets.
Yes, and so it's really easy to steam.
Yeah,
with that.
I have one of those, but you know when I've got all these things on my stove, and this is here and that's there, and then it's like, well, you go in the microwave, but not anymore. It'll get steamed properly.
There you go.
So, is there a way, if you're not into the fermented foods, that you can get some enzymes?
Another way is you can get digestive enzyme supplements.
Okay.
So if you're not a big fruit and vegetable person, you can get digestive enzymes from supplements. Or if you want to supplement with digestive enzymes until you start making these changes and adding more fruits and vegetables, that will be beneficial as well.
So since digestive enzymes may be a new concept or a product for people, are there anything in particular you need to look for on labeling that's a good product and that's what you want to have?
For digestive enzymes to break down fats, on the label it would say lipase, Lipase.
Okay.
And for proteins, it would be protease, Protease.
Okay.
So those are the two main digestive enzymes to help break down fats and proteins. And again, we talked at the beginning that without the proteins being able to break down into the building blocks, you can't repair anything.
Right.
So you really want to make sure you have a good digestive enzyme for proteins.
So what about the next step?
The next step is the rebuild step. And this is where you have your pre and probiotics. And a lot of people are familiar with probiotics, which is like your yogurt and your kefir and kombucha. But your prebiotics feed your probiotics. So when you have the probiotics, this helps to rebuild the gut lining with good bacteria. And you want that, but you want to keep them healthy, so you want to give them the prebiotics. And the prebiotics is going to be found in like sprouted grains. It can also be bananas or green leafy vegetables, or even your sprouted greens, onions and garlic. And what we think of more spices or flavoring, those would be beneficial as prebiotics.
So you say should you take that before before a meal? Does it matter where in the day you have that, or just
as long as you have both the pre and the probiotics. And the probiotics, again, is your fermented foods. So besides the yogurt and kefir, your sauerkraut, pickles, kimchi, different things like that.
So you mentioned onions and garlic for a prebiotic. Can they be cooked?
They can, but again, you want to do that
minimally,
lightly steaming or just a quick saute.
Because I know some people, especially as we age, seem to have trouble with raw onions. But if you could stir fry them, they are something.
Exactly.
So that was, I already lost track
We're
of our
on 3
steps,
with that.
but we have one more step, don't we?
We have step 4, which
Okay.
is regenerate.
All right,
And
regenerate.
this is just to build on what you've already been doing. And this whole 4-step process can be anywhere from 6 months to a year, because when we're talking about nutrition and healing, it's a slow process. It doesn't happen overnight, so it takes time. So with the regenerating, you just want to keep eating healthy foods, as healthy as you can afford or as healthy as you can find in the community. So this is going to be your fruits, your vegetables, and your good proteins. And
What about things like beans and legumes? Does that fall in that healthy?
they do. Beans and legumes are really healthy foods. The only problem with beans and legumes is people tend to think of them as proteins, and they're not proteins. Proteins have to be complete, and the only complete proteins are typically animal products. So beans are incomplete, so you have to mix and mash it with other foods.
Like a corn or something.
Or a rice or something like that to make it complete. So if you're not doing that, then it's a carb. And it's still a good carb, but you need to have a rounded out diet where you're not high in carbs or high in protein or high in fats. They need to be more balanced.
Right. So years ago, the big push was whole grains. And you really didn't talk about grains other than sprouted. But if people are choosing a grain, maybe they want to do a pasta, like a whole grain pasta. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Whole grains are still healthier.
Okay.
The reason that we move more towards sprouted grains is because whole grains have phytates, and those are hard to digest, especially if you don't have those digestive enzymes.
Enzymes, okay.
You can't break down those phytates. Where sprouted grains break that phytate down, and so then you can absorb it better. So you can find sprouted whole grain pastas and stuff like that, but it's a little trickier here in Tucumcari.
It is. Very much tricky.
But that would be why you would look for sprouted, or make sure that you have a good digestive enzyme if you can't do the sprouted, is because the whole grains have that phytate.
Can the peanut gallery put in a question? What about quinoa?
Quinoa is wonderful. So is buckwheat. Those are the 2 grains that are complete proteins as well. They have everything in them that makes it a complete protein. So when you see quinoa or buckwheat and it says 8 grams of protein per serving, you are actually getting full protein with that. Where other grains, it may say 2 or 3 grams of protein, it's still an incomplete protein.
So something I didn't hear you mention, other than maybe the kiwi and the pineapple, was actually citrus fruit. And, all of my life I've been taught that vitamin C was important for healing. So what about citrus fruits? Are they considered healthy or?
They are. Citrus fruits kind of fall into the category of antioxidants. And so vitamin C is one of the main antioxidants. An antioxidant is a protective cell, and it keeps your body from making free radicals. And
You don't want those.
maybe you guys have heard in the past of free radicals led to cancer and
Yes.
heart disease and things like that. And that's what free radicals do. So antioxidants like vitamin C protect your cells from those free radicals.
So we can choose an orange once in a while. or
Yes, so
Don't
citrus,
just have bananas.
citrus is good, and vitamin C is rich in citrus fruits, but vitamin C is also rich in peppers, which New Mexico has a whole variety of peppers, and vitamin C is rich in peppers as well.
Yes. I eat my peppers most days. So I'm excited about hearing that. So we're running out of time. So is there something else you want to make sure that we know about foods that we need to be eating that heal?
Well, the other foods that would be in that category would be like the flavonoids. And flavonoids are a phytochemical that are found in lots of different foods that we think of as more like the herbal realm of foods, like your garlic and your onion that add seasoning. Those have lots of flavonoids, which are the phytochemicals that help. There's not really nutrients for them, but that helps to increase the immune system, helps to fight off infections, helps to build the immune system as well. And so those would be, they also help with like inflammation, which you had mentioned earlier. And so again, garlic, onions, leeks, celery, parsley, mint, anything along those lines that typically most people think of as more of a seasoning type of food.
Right. Well, and it's good idea, I think, to season with those kinds of things as opposed to your salts or your
Absolutely.
mixtures that you buy in jars.
Absolutely. Having the seasonings would be, they also help add more nutrients.
So you mentioned at the beginning that this all kind of came from what veggies do you use for sagging skin, and I'm sure there were people listening and saying, veggies for sagging skin, so you might want to just share that with our audience before we finish up, because who wants saggy skin?
Well, the nutrient that is usually deficient that whenever you lose weight and your skin starts to sag is sulfur. And so you want sulfur-containing foods will help with the saggy skin. And those are considered cruciferous vegetables. And cruciferous vegetables are all the ones your mom and grandma told you to eat, but most people don't like. So that would be your broccoli, your cauliflower, your asparagus, your beets, your Brussels sprouts, and things like that. Kale would be another one. So if you love those are great cruciferous vegetables that help give you plenty of sulfur, and sulfur helps to tone up the skin that is loose and saggy.
Perfect.
Isn't that interesting? So we like to end with a little food for thought that we can discuss. So as we were looking for...
this is actually her quote, I believe.
Yeah, possible quotes. You gave us this one. The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. And that was by Thomas Edison. So way back long ago,
Yes.
they were thinking about healthy foods.
And the interesting thing with that is that quote is from 1903. And if Thomas Edison back in 1903 thought medicine was going down the wrong path, what would he think today?
What would he think today? Indeed.
But there's a lot to be said about eating that healthy food. And actually, even though healthy food might be considered more expensive, now as we're eating it, it's less expensive than medicine.
It's an investment in your health.
I was going to say yes. If you can think of it as an investment, because it's increasing the nutrients, and if you have increased nutrients, you don't eat as much, you don't require as much, because you're getting those nutrients. Where like with the processed foods, they don't have very many nutrients, so you have to eat more of them to
And they aren't typically good to start with. They're high carbohydrates or,
higher sugars, higher sodium, things like that, yes.
Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. This has been so fascinating, and we could talk for hours, but we don't want to go too long, but we'd like to give you a thank you gift.
Thank you.
Of a nice tumbler for your water.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. We appreciate you coming, and maybe we can come up with some more topics and have you again, because
very fascinating.
There's so many things that we could talk about in the world of nutrition. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you have found some motivation and information that will help you add some tasty foods to help your body heal. Please come back next time, as we will have reminders about things your children need before they go back to school.
Special thanks to our guest contributor, Dr. Tina Guerrero. and Joyce Runyon. Our host was Brenda Bishop. Cast crew today was Robert F. Hockaday as the director. Producers were Robert F. Hockaday and Joyce Runyon. Video crew was Robert F. Hockaday and Gordon Runyon. Music provided by David Morris.
This podcast was made possible by a New Mexico Department of Health Better Together grant. Additional information about today's topic will be on the Health IQ blog located on the Quay County Health Council's website at www.qchealthcouncil.org. Be sure to follow the Quay County Health Council on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Quay County Health. This podcast was created solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for advice from a healthcare or mental health professional.